Hi, this is Steven Kwan, and this is MLB Office Hours.
Kwan drills one to deep right field. Kwan just continues to hit.
So we have Steven Kwan in office today at the HQ. We just played some pinball before coming in here to get loose. Is there anything with pinball, since you seem to be very good at it, that applies to baseball? Is there hand-eye coordination help, anything there?
I think my dad will say there's definitely some hand-eye coordination. That whole story kind of came up because my dad and my mom love playing pinball. And then when I was like 3 years old, they threw me on. I think they were surprised that I was just making any kind of contact. My dad swears that I'm a contact hitter because of that. So I'll write that legacy out. But yeah, there's probably some hand-eye coordination in there.
And you mentioned your parents, and I've heard you say like they're active on social. Maybe they're not posting, but they're always following and like telling you that they've seen things. Is this still going on? Are you still getting calls like, hey, I saw this on Twitter or Instagram?
I've kind of had them back off a little bit because, like I said, it's good and bad. There was a story that my dad read some like troll that I came in like a coffee shop and I like reeked of cologne. My mom was like vengeful and she was like, "You're never going back to that coffee shop ever again." And I'm like, I only go to Starbucks, so I don't think anyone would call it a coffee shop. So I think they're still looking at it, but they're not telling me as much as before.
And you still getting, having calls with your dad about, it seems like he watches every game and every play and gets back to you on it. Is there like a scouting report or, post-game conversation still happening between the two of you guys?
Sometimes, not as much. He likes to know like the funny in-between stuff. Like we'll just be talking, kind of catching up, and then he'll just be like, by the way, like, do you think Tim Herron balked on that one? I'm like, I don't think so. He's like, yeah, I didn't think so either. And then we'll just continue our train of thought. Yeah, he definitely watches all the games.
I love it. So pinball is one thing you do. You talk about chess a lot, and I know you get questions about chess a lot. One of your teammates is an amazing Mario Kart player, which you talk about a lot with J-Ram. You at chess skill-wise versus J-Ram Mario Kart skill-wise, who's more impressive?
I guess I just have to say J-Ram. His is impressive just because, I mean, I feel like you know Mario Kart to like a certain level, and then he just like brings layers that you never would imagine. Like he's holding on to certain items on certain maps, and then like if you take a turn the wrong way, he's hitting the lightning and you fall off. But on a different map, he just uses it immediately and goes for like red shells. His game knowledge is really impressive. I like to say chess is probably not as exciting to watch. The Mario Kart stuff is really impressive with him.
Can you beat him in Mario Kart?
No. I was humbled my first year very fast.
Okay.
We got guys like Tyler Freeman, David Fry, who go up against him pretty often. And Tyler will get him, but I've never got him.
Just one more chess question. We spent time with Will Benson this offseason, and he said, like, undisputed, I'm the best chess player in Major League Baseball. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, that hurts my ego because hopefully he told you the whole origin story, but we started playing together. I want to say it was 2021 spring training. I played him a couple of times. I beat him. He played me a couple of times. I beat him. And then I think for that year, I was certain that I was better than him. And then he got traded to the Reds. And then him and Joey Votto just play these unbelievable games every day, multiple times. I mean, iron sharpens iron. So I played against him this last offseason, and he cooked me. So that was hard, relinquishing the crown, but I would agree with that 100%. I don't think anybody in Major League Baseball will be able to beat him.
Wow. Okay. I know. I mean, Tristan, similarly, he said he's like, I can't beat Kwan, but also he's like, I can't come close to beating Will. I feel like, is that motivating you? Are you coming for his crown now to try to?
I think it used to, but now the gap is getting a little wider.
Wow.
So now I'm looking up a real tall mountain. Also, literally tall man, but it's in there for sure. But I mean, he's widened the gap a good amount.
Okay, and then it seems corny to ask, like, baseball is a chess match and all that stuff, but like, is there any overlap there? Mind games, pitcher, hitter, chess. Do you feel any overlap there?
I think less of like the mind games and more like psychologically. Like when you're playing chess and like obviously you're trying to be better than your opponent, you're trying to be smarter than the other person, and then you make a move and it ends up inevitably being a dumb move. Like you can be like, oh, like wow, that was so silly, crumble and the game's over, or just be like, okay, I messed up, let's move on. Like I think that's translatable to baseball, where it's like you're going up to a bat, you think a first pitch is coming and you swing and miss and you look really dumb. Like
yeah.
You could have your rest of your at bat be over and be like, wow, I look so stupid, or just be like, okay, I look dumb, let's move on, what's gonna happen next? I think it really practices staying in the moment, looking forward, and then just doing your best.
Yeah. Recently in Cleveland, and not just recently, you guys have had some interesting first pitches going on, interesting celebrities. We had like Machine Gun Kelly was there, obviously Travis Kelce was there the year before, and then recently with Shaquille O'Neal coming to DJ there, I don't want to ask as much about Shaq as I want to ask about you eating on stage. Has that come up a few times? It seemed like there was something in hand and you were just kind of like, I'm on stage with Shaquille O'Neal munching along. Like, what was happening?
Yeah. Thank you for asking that.
Yeah,
There needs to be some context with that story. So we knew he was DJing, and they were like, okay, you guys can watch in the dugout. I'm like, okay, that'd be sick. That would just be fun to watch from a distance. So I thought that was our only thing. So backpedal again. Bo and Josh's whole family was there, and they handmade Jamaican beef patties. I've never had some before. I've heard great stories about him. Bo comes out and he's like, bro, you gotta try these. So I come out late, I have my rehab, I grab my beef patty, and then I get in the dugout a little late and everybody's walking out. And I'm like, yo, where are y'all going? Like, I thought we were just chilling in the dugout, and they're like, yo, like Shaq said we can go on the stage. And I'm like, well, I haven't eaten yet. And they're like, bro, just bring it. So I run up. I thought I was just gonna be kind of like chilling in the corner, like eating, and then I get pushed to the front, and I got all these crumbs coming up. My girl's laughing over here because that was the first thing that she said, was just she saw all these crumbs on the side of my mouth, eating she thought it was a hot dog at first, but it was
the beef patty good?
unbelievable. Oh my God, melt in the mouth. I didn't know that you're supposed to mix lard into the dough. That's what makes it that like delectable melt in your mouth kind of thing. Crazy.
I just love I don't know if it's swagger, I don't know what you would say, but like, I'm up here with Shaquille O'Neal, which you probably didn't think in your life you'd be on a DJ stage with Shaquille O'Neal, but you're like, I'm gonna eat this beef patty, I don't care where I am.
Yeah, 100%. I gotta refuel, recover. Yeah, that was crazy.
Did you get to talk to Shaq at all, or was he?
I gave him a dap up, and then his hand like enveloped me like a dad, like holding on to their like newborn son. But other than that, it was cool.
All right, seemed like a cool moment. And are we still eating beef patties now that you're on to the beef patty?
I kind of ruined. I flew too close to the sun. I had like the best of the best, and then I go to a shop, and then I get one. It's like this is nothing like it, like the original.
So I told you, I texted Adley seeing if he would ask you a question or what he had to say.
Mm-hmm.
He's ghosting. But you guys have played together now a couple times, or against each other, I should say. Obviously, we're at OSU together. You got a couple bags off of him this year, 3, I think. Now, I know when you come up to the plate, he has a chance to say whatever he wants to you. I don't know if does he talk any smack at all to you?
No, he's a very stoic guy, as I'm sure you could expect.
Yeah. No jokes or anything. He's just locked in on the game.
We'll say what's up. Like when thankfully I get to lead off the game, so there's like a little bit of empty time there where like everybody's getting settled, the camera's getting right, and we have a little conversation there. But like usually when the game starts, it'll just be kind of like a 1-sentence hitter. I know he's got a job to do, and the same.
You like to run. You're a fast guy, but like, is there anything a little extra when he's behind there? You're like, I'm taking this bag on.
So it's funny. I would love to if it was like a legit stolen base, but I mean, he's got some pitchers that are not holding on runners very closely who have unbelievable stuff, obviously, so they really don't have to. But we take advantage of those guys, and then he obviously gets dinged for them. So like, I would like to talk smack, but like, game, no game. I'm not stealing it off of him. I'm stealing it off the pitcher.
Right, and going back to just the two of you guys, you're dressing as Toad for Halloween. He's a Power Ranger, and now you guys are on a big league field together a couple years later. Like, does any of that, not just the costumes, but does any of that run through your mind where you're like, damn, this is kind of cool?
Yeah, it's surreal. It's really cool. We kind of had those talks when we both debuted in 2022. Like, it's fun too. We get our breakfast whenever we meet up, and we're just telling war stories of the past, and this person's here, this other person's there. Remember when this happened? And then like after we're like done laughing, it's like, yo, this is crazy. Like, we talked about this in summer ball of 2016, and now we're actually doing it. It's definitely really special. And
now another OSU guy, first overall pick to you guys, and he recently did an interview where he was raving about you, saying like you're one of the greatest people he's met. Like, he was raving about you. Great accent too. And we got to talk to him recently, and he was saying like, yeah, I'm going to go back to Australia, and I want to, I'm going to try cricket, like just to mess around. How would you do with cricket, you think?
I played cricket in elementary school. I went to a private school from like K through 5, and obviously I played baseball throughout, but a lot of my classmates played cricket. So it was like someone's birthday party, and they brought it out, and I remember hitting, and someone screaming like, "Oh my God, he hit sixer!" And I was like, I don't know what a sixer is, but that sounds good. So that's like my big highlight that I was able to do. It's interesting. It's a wild game. There's definitely the similarities, but I don't know. It's a barbaric game. That thing's crazy.
And not even talking about Travis's play on the field, but like the kind of dude he is, or like, is it cool for you that he's an alma mater, from your alma mater and now here? Have you guys kept in touch? How's that relationship now?
Huge source of pride. My last offseason in Corvallis was when he was a freshman. I didn't know much about him. I mean, it was me and Trevor Larnick and a couple other guys that were on campus working out, and I just remember Travis would kind of just like linger around, ask some questions. It was never like overbearing, but it was like very very intentional, very insightful. He would ask really good questions. We would hit, and he would just watch us, take some notes. I just remember thinking like, wow, this kid's so mature, so professional. Super impressed. Didn't know obviously how the skills would kind of come together, but obviously it's blossomed. But seeing what I saw in Corvallis, it's no surprise he is where he is.
And you guys still chat every now and then, or like he
Yeah.
said something like, he said, "I'm there for you whenever you need," about you.
Yeah, he texted me a couple weeks before. I obviously was putting in my good word. I was definitely not biased at all on that, but we talked a good amount. I tried to give him as much as I could. He's definitely in a different situation than I ever was, but I think he's handling it really well. I think Cleveland's the kind of brand of baseball that he wants to play. So I think he's gonna blossom wherever he goes.
I love it. There's a video of you at All-Star on a mic watching Judge take BP, and you go, "It's that easy, huh?"
It's that easy, huh? What's our game plan today? Are we ambushing him or what?
Man, I feel like we gotta set the tone, guys.
Yeah.
That up close, and obviously you guys are playing each other now. You're in New York. Don't know if you guys had any moments to chat, but like you almost seemed amazed what you were seeing. Was it amazement watching VP like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's so big and strong, but able to move so like athletically and smoothly at the same time. Like I feel like those kind of two things really shouldn't go together. Like the only person I'd seen that before was Will Benson. We always make jokes that he's like too big to move, but then he's like dunking on guys in windmill, and it's like that shouldn't be possible. In the context of that clip, I think I always like to end my rounds with like a do or die. So it's like a game. You hit the ball, and if you hit it well, that's great. If you don't, like you're out. You don't get to hit another one like in batting practice. So I brought that up to Vladdy and Judge, and I was like, all right, do or die. Like you guys got to do it. And then I think I like rolled the ball over, but I was like, I was happy with it. And then Judge literally just inside outs one like a homer. And he's like, oh yeah, like good swing. And I'm like, that's that easy, huh? Like it's supposed to add some pressure to it, but I mean, he's a pro in and out.
No pressure there. All-Star, I'm sure, was an amazing time for you, and starting is an incredible thing. I want to know if you took anything home with you from All-Star, whether it was autographs, memorabilia, a piece of grass. Did you take anything with you or bring anything home?
It's gonna sound corny, but I guess like just the memories were the biggest thing. It was in between batting practice and the home run derby. We kind of had some downtime just as like a clubhouse. And thankfully I had like Josh, Jose, and David there. So we were like, well, we got like a couple hours, let's play some cards. And we played a game that a bunch of other players knew how to play like across the league. Like Simeon came and joined and played us for a little bit. We ended up beating him. Riley Green came and joined. We got him for one. And then like Jaron Duran came and played for one. Like just kind of having that like camaraderie and just being able to, level playing field, play some cards. I thought that was really cool.
So the Guardians seem like a good gamified team. Like you're playing, so you were running table there.
Yeah, 100%. I think we heard that we had some different house rules, so that maybe we were skewing it in our favor, but I mean, a dub's a dub.
We'll take it. Okay, so the memories we brought home. And you mentioned, we talked about Judge's pop. You got 13 homers this year. I mean, I'm not saying you've changed your game at all, but where is this pop coming from? I mean, did you see it coming?
I guess I have to say yes.
Yeah.
Kind of have to believe in yourself with that. I mean, I just watched Jose, really. Like, I model my game, base running and defense off him, but I mean, I have to with hitting as well. We're like the same size. He's a little stronger than I am, but like our levers are pretty much the same. Like with Judge, it's clear like he's got long levers. If he gets extended and gets it, it's just gonna be more force. But with Jose, I was really curious like how he was able to hit so many homers. I mean, he's able to get extended with his short arms as well. He gets the ball out in front, even like away pitches he's trying to pull, which has been really fascinating to watch. So all that to say, I'm trying to get the ball out in front a little more, pull the ball. I mean, that's where my pop's going to be. It's really not going to be to center or left field. But just trying to understand how he does it and then apply it to my game.
So based on just like your size together, you're like, I should be able to do this too.
In a certain way. I know I don't think I'll ever get to the 30, 40 that he's getting, but I mean, you can kind of slowly climb the way. Yeah, amen. But just, working my way towards that.
I want to know about Big Christmas. Are you guys calling him that also? Like, is the nickname seems to be spreading around baseball, but is Big Christmas, is that a thing in the clubhouse too?
Yeah, it's big everything. We used to call him Big Coffee because he loved coffee in the minor leagues. I think he self-proclaimed himself Big Beautiful, so we like calling him Big Beautiful. And then Big Christmas is kind of an easy one. But I mean, he's so lighthearted about all of it. He loves all those nicknames. But yeah, Big Christmas it rolls off the tongue for sure.
He looked like big bat flip the other day too.
Oh my gosh, he's animated. He gets us going. It's a lot of fun.
You guys seem to have a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
As a team. One thing I saw about you is that you journal, which I found interesting. I don't know how commonplace that is in the league, and you talked about writing maybe 3 things every day, or is it the same thing? Like, how has journaling helped you? Or are you still doing that?
Yeah, so I first started journaling in 2019, just kind of like for myself to get some thoughts out on the paper, especially starting minor league baseball. Like, at first it was like, oh, this would be a cool story. Like, even if I don't make it, like, this is something for my grandkids to have. So at first it was kind of just, writing stuff down, seeing where it would go. But then as I kind of like got through my career, I realized like, hey, like, I got a lot of thoughts out there that I don't need to keep above my head. And it was cool seeing, like, once I write it down, it kind of loses its power, because you kind of either see how silly it is, how, far-fetched it is. So I've been doing that since the minors, but recently I've been doing a baseball journal where it's really simple. It's like before the field, I'll write down my plan, and after the game, I'll write like 3 things I did well, 3 gratitudes, and then 3 things that I need to start, continue, and end. I think that is like a good place, like even good or bad, whether I do in the game, I'm always writing something down. I can write about how grateful I am just to be in the situation, which is a strong muscle that needs to be practiced more. And then after that's all done, I literally close my book on the day, and then I can go back to the hotel or my apartment and just be a normal person. I don't have to take the game with me, and that's easier said than done. But I think before it was like I had a bad game or I had a good game, and now I'm riding the highs and lows, the roller coasters of baseball.
Amazing. And is meditation still important to you also? Yeah,
absolutely. It's kind of the same muscle. It's identifying kind of stray thoughts and identifying for what they are as just thoughts, and then being able to move on from them. Obviously, like when you're in the batter's box, so many thoughts can float through your head, and if you can kind of just catch 1 or 2 of them and just be like, okay, like I'm tripping right now. Let me take a step out, breathe. Let me go back to my plan. I think that can make all the difference.
Okay. So controlling the mental side of things. And it's interesting you're saying like you write it down, then you kind of close the book on the day, and it's like a closure of the day for you.
Yeah.
So after that long game last night, did you still get the journal done after that one?
Absolutely. I mean, those are the ones where it's like I definitely need to. Like, didn't have as good of the game as I wanted, and those are the ones where it's like, okay, like don't focus on the negatives, let's focus on the positives. Like, what did you do well? How did you help the team? And even if it's little things like, guy struck out, and then he slammed his helmet and you picked his helmet up. Like, even those things I think add up. But yeah, they definitely help towards the 162 season.
Yeah. And I know you've talked about like who you idolized growing up, and obviously you lived in the Bay Area, right? But like Ichiro had an influence. I know you guys were in the same place at a time. I don't know, did you actually get to meet Ichiro? Or like you got an autograph or something like that? Is that correct? So like, if you could tell fans who don't know, like his influence on you coming up, and then if you did get anything from him, is that correct? What?
Yeah, so I got definitely my favorite baseball player growing up. I got a signed jersey from him, but when we were there, it's always been like he's been out of town. There was one time he was being inducted to the Seattle Hall of Fame, so like I'm not gonna insert myself on his day kind of thing. But yeah, he was definitely huge to just my development for baseball. Twofold. My grandma's Japanese, and she would have the Japanese baseball network on, or just the news network, and they'd always have an Ichiro session. So like naturally, I'm gonna watch that, whether he's doing good or bad. But it was also somebody that like kind of looked like me and had the same kind of play style as me. Never been that guy to hit a bunch of homers and or do anything like super sexy on the baseball field. But he was kind of the guy that was super fundamental, did the same thing every day, helped his teammates out. Again, looked like me. I thought that was super important. Yeah, that's definitely my idol for sure.
There was a clip on Twitter about, I don't know if you ran into Shohei at some point, and like the person was speculating that he wanted to recruit you to play on the Japan WBC team. Is that more than speculation?
No, yeah, that's fact. That's 100% fact. Yeah, we met in between. I was talking to some of his people about, getting recruited for all that, and then I was like, oh, like it would be awesome. Like, let's keep in touch. And then he was one who approached me for it, and I was like starstruck, which was super cool. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, which is a huge bummer. But I mean, if the opportunity's there again next time, I would love to do it.
That's awesome. You are famously hard to strike out. I want to know, like, you always seem in control for the most part when you're at the plate. Is there any pitcher or pitchers you face where you're like, I'm not in control right now, like, that have thrown you off a little bit?
Yeah. I guess I kind of lump those questions the same thing. Carlos Rodon was like the most uncomfortable I've ever been in at bat. It was like my first year. He's throwing 99 mile per hour, rise balls the whole time. I think he struck me out my first at bat, and the second at bat, I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna get caught under a fastball. Like, I'm gonna attack this one fastball. And then he throws one at my head, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I gotta get out of the way. And at the last second, I realized it's a curveball, so I like ducked into it and get hit, and I just remember being like, I've never been that fooled on a curveball before, and that paired with like a 99-mile-per-hour fastball, I was like, I don't want any part of this guy anymore. And it was fine. Obviously, we're playing the Yankees right now, and he's on them. In the back of my head, I was like, I wouldn't be mad if we missed him.
I love it. And I have one more for you. I need to ask about Josh Naylor. Just like we talked about you guys having good vibes and the energy, and like, first of all, Jose Ramirez on a mic is like the funniest thing I've ever listened to. But Josh, like his energy seems different. Like he's so locked in. Earlier this year, he smacked himself in the head with a bat. Obviously, like, I mean, what did that, when you guys saw the bat hit, were you like, it's just Josh being Josh?
Yeah, 100%. That's him. He's, like you said, he's so locked into his process, and he loves this game so much, and he wants to help us out so much. Like when those moments come, he's just like, it's obviously he's so happy to help the team and like do well, but it comes out in his certain way. So it's always funny for us. But I mean, he's definitely our dog. When he goes, we go. Even just like small things in the dugout that people don't see, that he kind of fires us up. Like it's his brand of baseball and the way he does it. So he's been instrumental to our team for sure.
You just got his little brother there too.
Yeah, fire. And his other brothers with the A's right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all gonna be in the league at the same time, which is gonna be a fascinating story. But I mean, their dad did just fine with them.